I want to call to order and open the Monday, May 19th, 2014 Regional Governance Board of the Southwest Vermont Regional Technical School District meeting. I'm going to call that to order. Welcome everyone. Thank you for coming. We have a quorum, so we will proceed. And I just want to state up front that we have a presentation tonight from the culinary. All right, you'll notice that on the agenda. They're back there cooking right now so that they have the winning piece that they're going to bring forward for us. When it's ready, we'll stop because they want to bring it out and have it fresh, and we'll stop what we're doing and we'll let them do their presentation at that time. Is that okay with everyone? All right. So we'll start with public comments. Do we have any public comments? Okay, seeing none, then we'll move on to the committee reports. And I know that we've got one from strategic planning, so we're going to start right with them.
Yes. You want me to do it now?
Sure do.
All right. We had a strategic planning committee meeting on Friday, May 16th at noon, and we really covered a lot of things. Michael Harrington, who's chair of the Bennington Economic Development Committee, talked about his work with individuals to help them start their own businesses using the sustainable business model to set goals, plan budgets, and consider the importance of location. He kept saying location, location, location is important. He suggested several programs that the CDC might want to consider for the future. One of them was an entrepreneurial boot camp for students that would run for 12 weeks and would include financial planning, goal setting, and developing a business plan. Possible co-sponsors could be the local businesses or perhaps the credit union. Another program could be an emerging leaders program in industry to teach current employees or train current employees for leadership positions. A third suggestion was an experiential camp that's similar to what the police department has, and it would teach the students problem solving and critical thinking. We also suggested that the CDC business program might work with some of these programs. We discussed the possibility to have a mentor advisory committee to support students in these programs, and also working with educational institutions for ways that the students in these programs could receive dual credits. And the next meeting it will be held Tuesday, June 10th at 2:30 in the CDC conference room, and we will discuss implementation of these programs. I also read in the New York Times Magazine section, there was a whole story about who gets to graduate, and it was programs to help students who maybe don't feel good about themselves or concerned and don't know if they can make it. It's on a college level, but I think there are programs in here that we could apply. So I talked to Jim, and we're going to make copies so our committee can get that.
Good. So we've started out with community involvement. We're looking with this committee to bring in people like Michael on a regular basis and get input from the community members. So if anyone has any suggestions for the committee of speaker, feel free to pass that on to Gloria. And we certainly welcome that type of input, as Michael has given us in this committee. There's been no meeting of the Finance Committee or the Ed Committee, but we've got some business. We've got some important business in both those committees. And I would like to get that scheduled, hopefully this evening. Finance Committee should meet prior to the Ed Committee, because the Finance Committee needs to review the budget, and we need to be looking at that deficit still that we have in next year's budget as to how we're going to address that. And then I would expect their recommendations could go right on to the Ed Committee. And I'm in hopes that we can do those back to back. So I would like some dates. I'm gonna nail you down right now because we've got to move on this. We've got to make some things happen. And we've got to get invitations out to the faculty to be at these meetings. It's very critical that they understand that we want their input and their suggestions, and we want to work with them to solve these issues and to the betterment of everyone. So we'll start with finance. You're the chair of the five.
So I'm told.
So you're told. Can you give us some dates and time? And Ed, you are Ed, so.
Yeah, my answer after the last special meeting for this was pick a date and tell me when you want me there,
Pick a date.
along with the rest of the committee.
Okay.
Because the superintendent wasn't ready with the financial information for the finance committee, and my answer was when they're ready to go, the Ed committee will.
Then Jim, can
We'll
you
go.
give us some times then that we can look at?
Do you want to look at anything this week, or is that too short? Do you would rather go into next week?
There's two other board meetings on tomorrow night and Wednesday night.
Okay.
The MAU board meets.
So next Monday's Memorial Day.
You got 3 members here that are on.
27th, 28th, or 29th would be fine with me. So next Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday, those would all work for me. The next week into June, our awards night is June 3rd, so probably stay away from that. But other than that, the week of June, for that Monday, Wednesday, or Thursday.
Okay, let's take a look at, Monday's Memorial Day.
Monday's Memorial Day. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday of next week, 27, 28, or 29.
Okay,
Good for Tuesday and Wednesday. I
Yeah.
assume Tuesday, you know.
Tuesday's better.
Tuesday's better, I'm hearing. Okay, then let's, in time, what's best for finance for time?
When's, we have no meetings after Ed, right? So what's Ed want to do, 6?
What's
We
convenient,
need to.
acceptable to the others?
Yeah, we want to make sure the
All right,
teacher.
People on the Ed
We
committee.
should make it 2 ways.
Wednesday or Thursday work best for me next week because I've got games. But anytime after 5 o'clock.
Can you guys do Wednesday?
Nope.
You can't do Wednesday.
Can't do Wednesday, can't do Thursday.
You can't do Tuesday.
So Wednesday, June 4th.
Can't do any Wednesdays.
Okay. Monday, June 2nd.
I'll go into the following, but I thought you were talking about next week. But you're talking now and you're into June, I can do it.
We're talking about the 27th right now.
It looks like the 27th is the best date so far. And
Yeah,
can we,
27th is okay with me.
okay, we're gonna go with the 27th. We're looking at times now.
For the Ed
And-
committee?
And we start with finance,
Mm-hmm.
so we should do that maybe
Early.
3 o'clock.
Yeah.
Earlier
I have
in
a
the day better for
training,
you?
we've scheduled our annual training for Infinite Visions that runs until 5. I could try to swap it for days, but that,
I can't
so
do,
it's up
So
to
you can
you.
make it on the 27th till after
most
5.
kids are.
Unless I could see, there was another date available, I just arbitrarily picked the 27th, so I could try for the 29th.
Well, you better,
Right,
we can,
just
but you can't have that answer tonight, and if we want to set it tonight, we probably either go at 5 or pick another day. Did somebody say they could not make June 2nd, Monday, June 2nd? Was there anybody who said no to that?
Monday, June
Is that the
2nd.
first Monday?
First
Yeah,
Monday.
I can't make the first.
Can't make that. So we're back to the 27th.
Well, it depends what time, if it's before 7, I
Oh,
can't.
3, if it's before 7, you
Before
could?
7.
Yeah, we
I
want
can't.
to do
Yeah.
it later in the afternoon, so faculty members are present as well.
Yeah.
So let's,
So that would work for me.
so that would work, June
Well, just
2nd.
before 7, 8.
How about everybody else? That's good for you,
That's
Steve.
fine.
We got to have our business manager.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
June 2nd doesn't work for me, I
Doesn't.
already have.
Doesn't work for Jackie.
I think we need to sit down with this after the meeting and get together after the meeting.
You could, could you hold 2 meetings? Something at 3 o'clock on a day, and then hold your formal, like hold a hearing at 3 o'clock to get input, and then have your formal meeting at a time everybody could make it, if we can find one.
Tomorrow too soon?
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're still not ready with that, all of that, yeah.
All right.
I mean, I could ask Debbie to do the training, the afternoon training, so I could be there at 3
On the
if I can't
22nd.
get it switched.
27.
I would, if you've got training, let's go back to June 2nd, and we'll do that for finance. Again, now Jim's suggestion that you get input in a special meeting. We're not gonna resolve everything on the 2nd anyways, so there'll be other opportunities for your input. So we're gonna go ahead with June 2nd. We'll start with finance at 3 o'clock. That runs for an hour, and then we'll go right into the Ed Committee at 4.
Yeah, I can't be there at all,
Okay,
because I have a previously scheduled thing at 6:30.
okay.
The,
Finances at 3.
Finance is at 3. And it is,
yeah. And did we say Thursday, the 29th is, you can't make the 29th, Thursday, the 29th was, did
I
anybody
guess
else?
if you're gonna make it at 3 and 4, I could probably make it.
3 o'clock on the 29th, is that everyone available then?
May 29,
Yeah, you could do that.
same time, right?
Yep.
3 and 4?
Well, that's
That works for me.
Thursday, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I can't make it
You can't make that one.
We can shoot you for desertion.
You said no to Wednesday.
Charge you with
28th.
Yeah, Wednesday, 4 on, I'm done.
Okay.
We gotta stick with the 2nd, it looks like. Gotta have a chair there for finance.
Do both committees have to meet the same day?
It's best if they do, because finance is gonna review everything, and they'll have figures to pass on to the Ed Committee. We've got to at least have finance first. All right, and I guess we don't have to go right into the Ed. We can delay the Ed till after. It's helpful to have that information right away, and
Yeah, and the input,
the input.
thinking,
Yeah.
rationales.
That's right. And our business manager is there if there's any questions as well, you know, even with the Ed Committee. So I kind of like to keep it that way. It's worked well in the past. Certainly, Jackie, you can get us your input as to what you would like discussed, and we'll have minutes for you, et cetera, so that everything can be shared with you. All right. So we're gonna go with the 2nd. Everybody set on that, all right?
At 3 and 4?
3 and 4. All right, and Stephanie, you can be there, you'll have your figures and things ready for us as well.
How long does the meeting last?
We're looking for an hour at each
Well,
meeting.
see, my next meeting isn't until 6:30. It's downtown.
So
So
you
you'd
should
be all
make
set.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
There.
So June 2nd, right?
June 2nd.
3 and 4 p.m.
Yep.
Is that okay with you, John?
It is right now, yeah, I don't know if I have schedules, but yeah, I'm sorry.
Oh, not too bad, only took 15 minutes.
It only took 15. Where's those sliders? They should be ready by now.
Excuse myself for a minute.
Okay.
See where we're going.
Let's go into the consent agenda. There's no other committee reports. Minutes from the full board meeting on April 21st. Were there any questions on those?
I move it.
Second.
Okay, it's moved by Ricky and seconded by Kevin.
I wanted to,
Yep,
excuse me
go ahead.
for interrupting. On page 2, I wanted to make sure these numbers were right. I had questioned the blended.
What line are you on it?
I'm down on, I'm looking at line 45, 46 rather.
Okay.
Were those numbers of 40,000 for the healthcare payment and the annual share of 280,000, is that correct? Approximately, I don't need it.
Well, I think when you, if I was remembering correctly, you were asking about the $40,000 health payment, but that included our portion and the employee portion.
Okay,
So depending on, whether you're a teacher or administrator or
okay,
parent.
I understand now. I just wanted to make sure we had the right numbers in there because it didn't add up to me when I read the minutes.
Okay.
5 minutes or less.
Okay. Any other questions on those minutes? All those in favor of accepting those minutes as published, please signify by raising your hands. And that's unanimous. Okay. I'm going to throw in here the minutes of the special meeting as well, because those have been finalized and sent to us. And those are in the Dropbox. And I need a motion to accept those. So
Second.
Okay, moved by Ricky and seconded by Francis. Any questions on the special minutes? Okay, seeing none, all those in favor of accepting those minutes as published, please signify by raising your hands. Those are approved. Okay, we have payroll warrants, 23, 1041, 24, 1043. I move all for them.
Second.
You got it, Martin? Okay. Any questions on those? All in favor? Unanimous. Okay. Vendor warrants, 1042 and 1044.
So moved. Second.
Moved by Francis, seconded by Ricky. And those are questions. Yes.
On 1042, we're on page 14, there's several allocations that apparently are coming from MAU.
Yep.
And I'm just trying to understand how these were arrived at. For example, building on line 1, there's a building supply allocation. Are those things that are coming to being spent at the CDC, or are we paying for whatever they're spending over at MAU and we pay 25% of it? When in fact it may have nothing to do with this building.
Well, I mean, it's the total building, and they are allocating a portion of it to us, just as if, if they're purchasing, I don't know, janitorial supplies, those get allocated to us as well as to them. I don't think that they are tracking specific
Okay.
use within the,
Yeah, I don't think they do. I don't think they break it out.
no, I mean, I see copies of all the bills that come through and check,
Okay. We probably need to examine this more in the future to make sure that we're not being charged for things that are actually being used for MAU that have nothing to do with this building.
There was an issue that I remember, Ed, we were paying at one time for the gymnasium floor, so that was, that's kind of fine. So you may want to check with Marston and see if he can give us a breakdown or something on that, because,
on the gym floor, or just?
well, no.
That was-
on the-
Okay.
Yeah, that was just an example I was using.
Yep.
Whereas we don't feel we should be paying for cafeteria services, gymnasium services, et cetera. They have to be something that's associated with the
Right.
CDC.
But it's my understanding that building maintenance and supplies is something that's carried over both,
Yeah.
over both locations. And I can I can have a discussion with him and how he comes to decide what bills he sends our way.
But we can take Ed's question and we
Yeah,
can
and-
schedule a meeting with Stephanie and I and him, and just, it's always good to periodically review
Yeah.
how that's going.
Yeah, that's right.
These aren't big charges, but
And there's.
it could be.
Yeah, there will be more.
Yeah.
Yes. So.
Okay. Anything else on the warrants, on the vendor warrants? All right, then, we did get a motion on those, right? All those in favor of accepting the vendor warrants as published? And that looks unanimous too, Barb. Okay. Cash flow statements. Any questions or concerns on those, or the revenue and expense statements? Those are also in the Dropbox. Okay. Then we'll move right on to action items. We've got a field trip to Skills USA in Kansas City, Missouri, June 23rd to the 28th. And I think I did see that. It is in the Dropbox.
Make the motion, we allow it or accept it?
Second.
Okay, Ricky has made the motion and Kevin has seconded it. Looks like everything is up to date on the request.
Except there's no driver listed in the,
Okay, it says CDC bus,
needs driver.
need driver.
Yeah.
I guess they're working on that.
Yeah.
How come they're going with an they're going on an airline, they still need a driver for the bus?
To the airport.
Oh, to the airport. Oh, okay. You have it, you're all set.
And there's only one chaperone listed, is that normal?
There are two. There's
There are
two.
two,
There's two?
Yeah, there's
the advisor.
Bill Obenauer. and
Oh, okay.
Kathy and Bill.
It's nice
Okay.
that half of it is paid for.
Yeah. Boy, 23rd, that's late in the year.
Yeah, that's their national competition. They always try to hold it when most of the schools are out of school.
Yeah, that would make sense. Good luck with that, yeah. All those in favor of that field trip? That's unanimous. Okay.
These are, just remember, these are our gold medal winners in the state competition,
Yeah.
going on to the national competition.
You'll do well. You've got a good team. Equipment acquisition. Good.
As you know, we've been investigating the purchase of replacing the backhoe for forestry heavy equipment. The machine is 20 years old and we've had a lot of issues with it, particularly because it's not a cold weather machine. I have Dave Dents here tonight who has done the background work to get the bids for the machines. Stephanie has a sheet that's being passed out that will show you what we're purchasing. One important thing to remember, if you do remember at all, we're taking $30,000 out of our Perkins grant this year that will basically act as the down payment on this machine. Then we'll make lease-to-own payments for 5 years at 2%. That's the general of it. Any questions that you have on the financing and purchasing, Stephanie? Any questions on how we came about to get the quotes and what the machine that we're attempting to buy, that's what Dave's here for. So I open it up for your questions.
The recommended purchases, which one?
Recommended purchase is the 2013 John Deere 310SK for $68,000.
And as I remember you discussing this the last time, this is a smaller version of a larger type of backhoe.
Well, it's a full-size backhoe, similar to the one we have now. One of the biggest problems and I don't want to speak for Dave here, but what he has consistently had with it, it's really a Florida vehicle would be the way to describe it. Doesn't have a glow plug, right? So, starting it in the winter has always been a difficulty. This one has a cold weather package. And the big advantage for us is that we have $30,000 of this year's Perkins money to set aside. I'm getting if we could take a break in our agenda, Mr. Chairperson.
Okay, looks like we're going to.
Yeah, we'll serve it while the food is ready. So
Okay.
we can suspend the agenda and take your questions after this. If I could go into this year, I hosted the first, what I will hope will become annual superintendent's cook-off competition this year with the Culinary 2 students. This year was the challenge to us to produce the best slider. We had a team of culinary experts, or people who like to eat, one or the other. 6 judges who judged, and they were all outstanding. All students who participated did get a gift certificate to the kitchen store in, I think that's what it's called, in Manchester, Vermont, so that they can pick out what implement they might want to use to further their culinary training. And tonight we have for you what was judged to be the winning. It was a blind taste test, and there was a score sheet that had everything from moisture to aroma to taste, and I forget what else was on that score sheet, but it could add up to a total of 40 points, and then we averaged them all from the 6 judges, and I present to you the winning Shelby Harkins from Bennington. And Shelby, if you could bring in your winning sliders for everyone to sample. Here we go.
Where would you like them?
Yeah. Yeah. Why don't you, Shelby, why don't you just walk around and... This is Shelby's grandmother who brought her here. I'm sorry, I forget your name.
Penny.
Penny. Welcome. Go ahead, Shelby. Why don't you just walk around and hand them out so they can test. This is a pulled turkey slider, if I remember correctly. And Shelby will, once she hands them out, she's going to explain to you how she made them. Originality was also one of the criteria in the judging, and
How many contestants were there?
there were 4 who were in that competition.
Competition.
And we had a taco slider, a traditional bacon cheeseburger slider. Which one am I forgetting? The pulled, I forget that one, the pulled pork slider. So this is the pulled turkey slider. Shelby? All right, you're almost done that, and then we'll let you, you can turn and tell them what's in this and how you made it.
Here, I'll take Leon's too.
Yeah. Feel free to share with the audience too. I know we have enough, right? You want to? Yeah.
Can we dig in?
Yeah, go right in. Shelby, why don't you come in front here? I'm gonna turn my microphone so that they can hear you. Yeah. And this is Shelby Harkins. Shelby, why don't you tell us what they're eating?
It is a pulled turkey slider with a barbecue sauce. It's a cranberry barbecue sauce, a slice of cranberry sauce, and an apple celery slaw.
Apple celery.
So one thing that I told you that I was, when we spoke today, that I told you I was going to ask, now that you've won our competition, is there anything that you would have changed in this now when you go to make it another time? Anything different you might do?
One thing I changed from the competition is I changed the bun. We did a different bun recipe, and I also added the slice of cranberry sauce.
Good. Well, excellent. As I said, Shelby did win a gift certificate for the kitchen store in Manchester, but she also is going to be the recipient of the first trophy. This is the annual Superintendent Director's Culinary Cook-Off at the Creative Wellness Center, and it is first place, May 2014, to Shelby M. Harkins. Congratulations. Anybody have any questions of Shelby while we still have her here?
Yeah, I want mine.
It's delicious.
It is
I love it, love it. Shelby,
And the
Where are you
roll
going
is
to school,
fantastic.
Shelby?
Shelby,
We missed one over there. I plan on going to Paul Smith's next fall for baking and pastry arts. Sorry.
Good for you.
No. If we could get this downtown, everybody would show up.
did you bake the bread?
Yes.
Yes, she did. That was part of the competition. All the students did bake their own bread for it as well as made the slider, so.
I especially like the cranberry in there.
Great fun.
Excellent.
All right. Thank you, Shelby.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, while you're all enjoying your pulled turkey, I asked that if I could recognize Dave Dents and he could give us a little background on what it is we're asking you to approve us to purchase. Dave?
Jim touched on some of the things that the problems that we had with this particular machine. And it's actually it's still a very decent machine, and when the people came, the different salesmen came to look at it, I feel as though we got a pretty good trade-in on it, which I think with John Deere was $15,000, Caterpillar was $15,000. So the problem we have with this machine is it's got one battery, no glow plugs. I did install a block heater on it last year, but with the machine, we use it all through the winter, so every time we go out, it's a battle for me to get it started. So, I usually will go there an hour before I come to school and plug the machine in, and it may start when we get there. So that was the big thing. Other than that, the machine has about 4,000 hours, so I figured, we probably put on about a couple hundred hours a year on the machine. The machine is in good shape. It's got things that are wrong with it that wouldn't normally be wrong, like the doors and stuff are worn out from getting in and out of it as much as we do. But the actual part of the machine, the pins and bushings and stuff are fairly decent. So we got a good trade in it. We solicited bids from all the major equipment dealers around here, Capital Tractor, which would have had their Ford and Holland. They kind of dragged their feet, still haven't got the quote in yet, but Caterpillar quoted the machine, John Deere quoted the machine, and Case quoted the machine. I went up to John Deere the other day to actually put my hands on the machine, and this 2013 machine is actually, it's I guess what they would call loaded. It's an extra cab package. If we were to quote, if I was to have these options in the specs, it would add about $10,000 to the cost. Because it's a 2013 leftover, it ends up coming in at $4,500 less than our lowest bid. So, I went off, I used it. It's just, it's going to be a nice thing. It's got limited. Since our bag was in 1995, and since then it's got a lot of upgrades that will make it a lot easier to work with students with. So I'm pretty excited. Also, John Deere, that's who our dozers with. They have been really good at supplying educational materials to us. They supply a whole supply of DVDs for all the machines, techniques for using the machine, safety posters, safety workbooks and whatnot. And with this deal, if we end up going with John Deere, which I'm hoping it will, then they will update everything again and give us all brand new stuff again. So not many other companies offer that intensive a training program. So.
And Stephanie, could you speak to, I know I gave an overview of the financing, but where are we on?
Well, basically, if we purchase the $68,000 one, $30,000 of a deposit would come out of the Perkins grant, which would leave us $38,000 to finance. I've spoken with the dealer, and we are eligible for the 2%, with basically it's their municipal lease. I think there's a clause basically in it that says, like, if your budget didn't pass and you didn't fund that line item, it could go back, they could take it back, but ultimately it's a capital lease where we would end up with it for $1 at the end of the lease. We could decide how many years we wanted to finance it. If we went over 3, it would be roughly $13,000 a year. If we went over 5, it'd be roughly $8,000 a year.
So at 5 years, it's $13,000 a year after the down payment?
No, at 3 years,
At
it's
3 years.
$13,000. For 5 years, it's about $8,000, just under $8,000.
Okay. Which, if, remember when we were doing the budget, and these are things that we're still trying to say, I think we original budgeted how much for a lease payment for 5 years? What was it?
20.
20,000, yeah, so we'll be under what we have budgeted
Well,
for at least, well
so
under.
there's some.
And part of that, it's, you know, it's just one of the features of this machine is to make, trying to attempt to make the program more friendly to non-traditional students. And the Perkins grant allows us to, so we're able to buy a tractor with more features than we would have normally been able to afford to buy, with the hope that then this is a vehicle, a tractor that's easily operated by non-traditional students, if you can get the jargon that I'm speaking, and that's why we're able to use the Perkins funds for it. They don't normally allow us to use it to purchase unless it's linked to an improvement of a program, otherwise it would be supplanting.
Okay.
What about the warranty?
It's a brand new vehicle.
I'm not sure if you got the papers that came with it, but it's a 1,000 hours or 5-year warranty. It's got the same warranty that we ordered in 2014.
Oh, good.
Now, the 68,000, that includes the 15,000 trade-in already in it?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
And so the trade is included in the.
Yes.
it's
Right. That's the final price.
So if you went to a lease and you decide on which one would your first payment begin in this year?
We could set it up in any way that we'd like. I'd like to make the deposit, you know, the down payment of 30, and then I would be open, you know, to discussion as to
We
what
have to
you
make the
want.
down payment, we have to expend the Perkins money before June 30th. So
Yeah,
we have to
you
make that.
definitely want to do that.
And then the next payment would be out of next fiscal year's money, so the first payment.
Unless the financing committee can look at this year's budget and
Right,
possibly.
which would save additional money out of next year.
Which would save money for next year,
Yeah.
which is what we need to do.
Yeah.
So that will be on the agenda then of the finance committee meeting as well. We'll take a look at this year's budget to see if we can possibly save something for next.
Okay.
So we're looking at 30 out of Perkins, so we're actually talking about 38,000 to
Correct.
lease.
Yes.
Okay.
I don't think we've got a motion.
No, you don't,
No.
no,
I'll
sorry.
make a motion, we accept the $68,000.
Second.
Okay. Any other discussion on that, Ed?
Just one question. Are these John Deere machines set up, for example, I know the larger cat excavators and so forth, you can change the controls over so they operate like a John Deere.
That's actually a really good question. This particular machine is set up that way with this upgraded package. It has the updated controls, what they call pilot controls. And so it's a backhoe, but it's set up to run like an excavator or a backhoe with literally just a click of a button. It
Okay.
changes the solenoid pattern for the hydraulic. So that was one of the things that I really liked about it was we're not just training on a John Deere machine. It's excavator, cat controls all the way around.
I'll vote for it.
That's a good question, and yeah. Educationally sound. Anything else? All those in favor then of this purchase, please signify by raising your hand. Unanimous. Good. Good luck with it, David. Superintendent's report.
One of my goals for this year is to revise our website. I have seen the revision, it's almost there. We do like the look of it, and hopefully we'll have it for you by the June committee. We've done our last changes with our webmaster of some corrections that we want to make on that draft, but I just want to let you know that that is progressing, and hopefully at the June meeting, I see no reason sitting here tonight why at the June meeting we won't be able to see the new website unveiled, so.
All right, good.
Just want to remind you that awards night, you heard it mentioned, we're looking through calendars tonight, that is June 3rd at the Elks at what time?
6 p.m.
6 p.m. So we would love for you to join. You will be getting your invitations soon, so I think they're going out this week. We have conducted interviews for engineering and for the guidance coordinator's position. We will be inviting candidates for the guidance coordinator's position to come in and spend a full day with Bill Swisher so that we get a better look at them and they get their eyes open to what the job really is like. All candidates that we interviewed have agreed to do that, and we'll be setting those up for next week. As early as next week, those candidates will be coming in. We have not begun the interview for special ed, that we have identified what candidates, and we'll be bringing those in for interviews also. Engineering position, we're down to solid candidate doing reference checks, certification issues, and then that'll be on your next agenda too, but we're making progress there as well. May 29th, I don't know if you've heard me talk about the South Shire Challenge before. It's something that's been set up through, we have participated in a couple of our programs with K&E Plastics and Abacus Automation. That award ceremony is in this room Thursday at 10 o'clock, and then again at 11. I think one of our programs is recognized at 10. That would be manufacturing design, and then another recognition at 11:30. The South Shire Challenge, if you remember, is area businesses put out challenges to school organizations, not just the CDC, on helping them with a specific project or problem with their business and getting students involved in the solutions to that. So that award ceremony is this Thursday. We did submit our grant for the sustainable food systems with the state of Vermont, and we are told that we will know by June 1st whether that grant has been approved, but it has been submitted, and the teachers also completed their work to receive their initial license to teach it. So that's the progress made in the Sustainable Foods Program. And also, actually, this morning, Perkins Grant was submitted for the first time well in advance of the deadline. So thank you to those who worked on that. Perkins Grant is worth about $150,000 for us, and the highlights for that next year is for a technology integration teacher and equipment targeting specific programs that I'm sorry, I'm thinking ahead of myself. About 30,000 of it is equipment grants, 70,000 salary and benefits, and Mike, what else did you get?
There's professional development.
Professional development, that's really required by the state, that they want us to include money in that Perkins grant for professional development. That's one of their priorities. Our Perkins grant, you should know, is actually more. It's about $174,000, but there's money taken by the state right off the top that goes to the consortium that pays for the director of professional development for the Career Development Center, the Career Technical Education Centers, Patty Coltis, who works through VTC, the program that she runs for the induction of new teachers into CTE. That comes right off the top of everybody's Perkins grant. So, and this month, since the last meeting, I did spend a day in Meriden, Connecticut, at Meriden Public Schools. A group of administrators that I met at the AASA conference. It's a school system known for TME's collection of data and using that data in decision making, and everything from student risk surveys online twice a year to staff community surveys, polling, and then using that data in budget and decision making for the district. So I did find that an eye-opening experience and useful. Last thing that are you guys going to give the report on negotiating? We don't have a report on negotiations, right. But I will report that it's my understanding that the teachers are voting on a proposal tomorrow, and so hopefully we will be able to come back to the committee. Why you're not hearing it tonight is the process that was spelled out is the teachers will vote on it first, then it goes back to the committee. So some of you that serve in other committees, you might see it on your agenda, but it's not on ours because we're ahead of their meeting. So it won't come back to us to our meeting June 19th. And that's all I have.
So you have a contract proposal that's going to be voted on by the teachers.
Right. Yeah.
And if it's approved, it sounds like that goes then to all the individual boards for approval.
Correct.
And that could happen as soon as the June meeting.
Right.
One comment on the website, I was reading the legislative roundup for the past session of the legislature. One of their requirements is that if a school has a website, the agenda for meetings has to be posted there. So tip off the developer to, if it's not already in there.
Yeah, it is in the works, and I won't, I have to put credit where credit is due and take blame where blame is due, and it's not the developer's fault that that agenda is not on the website. That lies more with our internal procedures and making sure that that information gets to the webmaster. But we've had a series of discussions with our webmaster on how to make that an easier, more streamlined process so that it can be updated as frequently as possible.
I wasn't commenting on the past, I was just pointing out that the
That it's
law
asked,
now it's going to require that.
Did you want to mention VHI also? Just,
I couldn't hear you. I'm sorry.
did you want to mention VHI also?
I'm sorry, I did not have that on my note, but why don't I let you discuss what that is?
I just wanted to make the board aware that I will be signing a document to sign us up for VHI, which is the Vermont Education Health Initiative for the next year. It's how we get our health insurance currently. There's a lot of discussion regarding VHI going forward, but in terms of next year.
Really just a one-year extension.
It's a one-year extension. We do have the ability to leave with 90 days notice, but I just wanted to I think if you were on other boards, you've probably been made aware of it too, but just as.
Sorry, I forgot
That's okay. I just wanted to make sure that everybody
I told you today that I
knew.
was going to mention that, but I forgot. Thank you for reminding me. So that would be it then.
Okay, the chair's report. We have a meeting coming up with the Bennington Selectmen, and it's going to be here, correct? And I've forgotten the date. Have you got your calendar on that one?
Probably June 2nd.
Yeah. Thanks. It's usually 7:30 in the morning, so we're safe. But if anyone is interested in attending that, our discussion right now is around the town of Bennington and any issues that they see with us and us with them.
I got to verify this, but is it Tuesday the 10th sound right? The morning of
Yes,
Tuesday
it
the 10th?
does. It does, yes.
At 7:30, but I got to verify that.
7:30, June 10th. We'll get an email out to you as we verify that. Usually the town manager comes, the selectmen have a good representation. There's some pretty good discussion about what's happening in the area. That's basically all I have, except for, again, I want to reiterate that I hope that we get good participation at both the finance and the ed committee meetings, particularly from the staff. We need your input on that. It's valuable that we work together and come to some good conclusions for everyone on the issues as far as the risks. You've all got copies from faculty members. Kevin has passed one out, and there is one more, and he'll be emailing that to you. Okay, letters. And we'll make a response to those as well.
And also, Jim, could the budget and all the paperwork we need before the finance meeting be email to all my members so we can, at least a week or so ahead of time, so we can review everything before we come to the meeting.
Yep. Definitely.
Could the education committee see that?
Of course.
Data too?
Yeah.
As a primer for the,
We'll have it, we'll put it in the Dropbox, how's that sound? And then Sandy can let everybody know once it's there.
But I can't print from a Dropbox.
Oh, you can?
Well, at least I don't know how, so.
Oh.
If you fax it, email it to me, then I can make my little notation.
Okay.
yeah.
You can
I
put it, I
prefer-
just can't print.
Do
Maybe
you
I
have
just-
an air printer?
Oh, what print?
Air, no.
I got 4 printers, I don't know what
What,
they
is
do.
it an air printer?
No.
Yeah, they're all hooked up,
Oh,
right?
are they? We have, yeah, mine-
Are they?
Mine's are all hooked up, yeah.
Yeah, that's why you can't print from here.
I got one other thing for other business that we're going to take care of right here in open session. I want to make sure that we got all the information corrected.
There's a legislative breakfast on the 2nd.
There is, at central office. And that's usually 7:30 in the morning,
7:45.
7:45,
7:45.
What date is that?
June 2nd.
June 2nd.
Yeah, I haven't had that confirmed. I mean, that's when it was scheduled, but I also haven't heard that it's actually going to happen yet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but, so put that down as tentative.
That's probably a pretty important meeting. I'm sure that the legislature is not going to drop all the issues that were close to being resolved in this last session. Although it's an election year, you never know what's going to happen. I hope we do have some good representation of that.
Well, at the last meeting, Jim, they had said instead of worrying about what they're doing, they want to know what you want, or what they can do for you here in the district, so. And I told the MAU board the same thing. I said, instead of, wondering what they're doing on this bill, that, if you have something you want to see happen in your districts, pick their brains here so they can maybe help us out.
Good, good.
And grants, sounds like that's a
That's going to be
important thing.
an important thing,
So,
for sure.
I think.
All right. The last thing I have, I'm going to cover this under other businesses, in a memorandum of agreement we had approved with the board and Ms. Barb Gabrati. And that has to do with payment towards her health insurance during the month of July and August of 2013. During the period that her contract was revoked. So we agreed that we were going to cover that, as you recall. And in addition to that, we agreed that we would pay her dental costs for her dental insurance. So we have to approve, and we have to approve in open session, the total cost. I'm looking for the total here. I guess it isn't totaled. I can give you the two. The health insurance was $2,760 and the dental was $639.
That was in the warrants.
Yes. It was.
Isn't it already approved?
No, the check is held
The
until
check
you
is in
approve.
Check is held until we
Oh, okay.
formally approve the memorandum of agreement. Can I have a motion then to accept this, approve this?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All right, moved by Ricky, seconded by Gloria. Any discussion? All in favor, please signify by raising your hands. That's unanimous. That's the only other business I had. Anyone else? Any other business? I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Second.
All right. Any discussion? All in favor? Thank you, everyone, for coming this evening.